morning to you all. Today we are going to have a forum, which is the topic was what is the role of a civil engineer? Okay, nowadays many people outside did not know the actual role as a civil engineer, and today we are going to explain by inviting the guests with us, Mr. Muhammad Amru Fahmi as environmental engineer. You can see in the screen, Mr. Amru Fahmi, the yellow shirt. And second one is Muhammad Izzat Najmi bin Muhammad Azam as a highway engineer. And the last one, the third one is Muhammad Afiq bin Abu Hassan Syari as a structural engineer. And I am myself, Muhammad Aziz Solihin, as moderator one. And we have my friend here, Muhammad Haris Fadilah bin Muhammad Razali as moderator 2. And the third moderator is Fahmi Yudin Mustafa. Okay. We will start our forum. Okay. I will ask the first one, the structural engineer, which is common, structural engineer, Mr. Muhammad Afiq bin Abu Hassan Syari. Okay, Mr. Afiq, what the job of structural engineer to this career, which is mean civil engineer career, and what is the daily activity as a structural engineer? Can you explain to us?
Okay. Thank you to moderator Azizi. Okay, I would like to summarize my day into three things. First, calculation, coordination, and problem solving. For calculation, it would you need to have a free body diagram on calculation and hand calculation, and it's really also to making 3D analysis model. So everything is in term of calculation. That trying the building, load design, structure member, so that I can tell you that 1/3 of my daily time on job by doing calculation. And for the second one is coordination. So it's not just a calculation for structure engineer. You know, we will working with architect a lot and the other discipline such as mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer. So during the design or building, I need constantly contact with the architect. We need to show them where the structure is going to go or how the structure is going to work. And then for the third one, problem solving. This kind of musculus, but you should know as engineer, we are problem solver. So a lot of problem solving, this can be out in the field. Maybe they have a problem in the field that they run into, maybe the location of the wall placed wrong, or the under the entry board were placed wrong. As engineer, this kind of miscellaneous problem that we will run into, but we always to find the solution to this problem solving. Can also go to the management side of thing, where if we have the project and we have a lot of deadline to do, we have enough resource. That's all for the question from the moderator one, Azizi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Afiq. As told by Mr. Afiq, we can conclude that his daily life as a structural engineer, he doing calculation, coordination, and problem solving. The most important, not engineer just not doing the calculation for their structure. He also told us that coordination is the most important, and structural engineer is a problem solver for any kind of problem on site. Okay, Mr. Afiq,
Yes.
this I got second question for you. Did structural engineer really design a building? What does it look like to work with building in your career as a structural engineer? Can you explain it first?
Okay, thank you, Azizi, for the second question. For sure, yes. Structure engineer really design a building. and engineer the building. We design the building to stand up under its own safe weight and not fall down during heavy wind or during earthquake. But the truth is, during building design, it's not just the architect or the structure engineer. It it take the entire team that consists of the building design. Team is usually the main from architecture, structure engineer, mechanical, electrical engineer, and plumbing engineer. We all have a part and we all have our own design in order to have a complete the building design. So if you compare a building to a human body, architect role would be to be the visionary, so that how that the body looks like, what is the color of the skin, what is the color of the hair, what is the function, how big is the building, and what shape is going to form. Uh, but just because you have something on paper, it does not mean the design from architecture will become the reality. You need an engineer to make the vision or a reality. So for structure engineer, we we design and comparing it into a human body. You can think of it as a human skeleton system. The muscular system, we give the structure to form the skeleton in order to be able to support itself. And we design the lateral force resisting system. You could think of this as the wall and the brace in the building that resist the earthquake and the heavy wind pressure. So I compare that the muscular system of the building. So if you push a human body, we not just going to fall. We are going to use our muscle to hold ourselves up. And we do the same thing in term of building. We design the system so they don't fall over during the earthquake or heavy rain. Heavy wind. Sorry. That's all for me for the question two. Thank you, Mr. Azizi.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Afiq. So uh, from the question, did structural engineer really design a building? Mr. Afiq already answered it. Um, the summary of his answer was the building were actually just like a human body, which needs muscles and skeleton to stand still. So just like a building, we need support like muscle to stand still from the earthquake or any environmental disaster. Okay, we can move to the next guest, which is Muhammad Izzat Najmi. Okay, Mr. Haris.
So, hello everyone. Uh, I would like to welcome Mr. Rajimi to this forum. Hi, Mr. Rajimi.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Saris.
Uh, Before the presentation begin, I would like to introduce to all the Mr. Rajimi. He is uh, uh, highway engineering, which has experience for 8 years, and is accomplished to have a professional engineering which got the title IR. So, Mr. Najmi,
Yes.
without further ado, I will ask you a question about what is the field of highway engineering? What is it all about?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Haris, for those questions. I will tell you about the highway engineering. Okay, highway engineering is a branch of civil engineering that focus on the design, planning, and construction of highways. It is obvious highways engineers play a crucial role in keeping people safe every day. Highway engineers are responsible for ensuring that highways are designed to be safe and efficient. Highway engineers are also responsible for every aspect of highway design, but must make sure the safety is the first priority. Highways engineer design the horizontal and vertical alignment of roadways, intersection, interchange, pavement mix, and a thickness design. For your information, highway engineers can work both, which are in office and in the field. Office work involves designing roadways using CADD software and checking plans to make sure they are safe for the construction. For the field work, normally involves site visit to ensure that plans are being followed properly or to make changes a plan or design when needed. Uh, I think that's a little bit info about highway engineering, Mr. Haris.
Sorry. So thank you, Mr. Najmi, for the explanation.
Yes,
We could conclude that uh, as a highway engineer, uh, you should design the road and make the road safe for everyone, right?
yes.
So I would like to talk the hot issue that happen nowadays, which the cases of death with the cause of the pothole for almost every week, which according to the police Selangor revealed that the total of 222 accidents were recorded to the imperfection physical condition of the road, such as a pothole, uh, which happened at 218. As a professional engineer, what's your opinion about this scenario or this issue, and how the local authority should take a step to prevent these cases to happen again?
Okay. Thank you for the questions. That's a really nice question. In this part, the engineer and the locality must take impact for this question because for engineer who in charge of the project construction must follow the drawing plan accurately because when the engineer do not follow the plan already designed, it can make the road not in the good conditions and can be dangerous for road users. For next point, engineer also do not take bribes when do their jobs because it will affect to our integrities and project too. As we can see nowadays, like you mentioned, many construction projects, especially the highway construction, have many defects of the roads. For the local authority, they should open the tender for the engineer who is totally qualification to take this project. For example, engineer grade G7. It is because the great experience of engineer know how to handle the project smoothly when something bad happen at the fieldwork or sites. Next is local authorities should do the inspection at field work because it can sometimes the workers do not take seriously when do their job. For example, when they do the excavation for road, they do not measure the depth or thickness of the road properly, and it can cause the road be in the bad condition. And also, JKR will take charge when the specification of the road do not follow. I think the answer. This is the answer for the questions what you were asking just now. Yes. Uh,
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fafidin. Right here we have Mr. Amru as an environmental engineer. Uh, can you introduce yourself a little bit, Mr. Amru?
Pardon?
Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Muhammad Amru Fahmi. I'm an environmental engineer from Department of Environment at Ipoh Perak.
Okay. Uh,
Okay.
how many experience of work? How many years of
I've
experience?
been at Department of Environment about 8 years.
Okay.
Yes. This year is my 8 years of working at Department of Environment.
Okay, Mr. Amru. Okay. We already know the work of structural and highway engineer, and so for Encik Amru, we would like to know about environmental engineer. What are the main scope of work for an environmental engineer? Would you like to tell us?
Sure. So for the main scope of environmental engineer, as we know, we conduct a hazardous waste management studies in which we evaluate the significance of a hazard and advise on treating and containing it. At the same time, we also design system of municipal and industrial water supplies and industrial wastewater treatment. We also make a research about the environmental impact of proposed construction projects. So, the environmental engineers is working together with government to develop a regulation to prevent mishaps. So, some environmental engineers study way to minimize the effect of acid rain, climate change, automobile emissions, and ozone depletion. We also collaborate with environmental scientists, urban and regional planners, also with hazardous waste technicians and other engineers as well, as with specialists such as experts in law and business to address all of the environmental problems and environmental sustainability. For more information, uh, we can see the job profile of environmental scientists and specialists, hazardous material removal workers, lawyers, and urban regional planners is working together with us. Yeah, that's about a little bit of my scope of work about environmental engineer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amru. Okay, from that we know that Mr. Amru worked at environmental waste for treatment, design work for wastage and something. And thank you, Mr. Amru, for that explanation. So we are running out of time right now. So we have to end our forum right here. So I would like to thanks to our honored guest, Mr. Amru, Mr. Afiq, and Mr. Izzat for coming to our forum tonight. And thanks to my fellow moderators also, Mr. Azizi and Mr. Haris. And I really hope that we learn a lot more things about civil engineers and what type of work they do in our society. So I would like to say thank you and good night and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.